Got my blanket. About to watch some Knight of Cups. Here we go. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, YouTube? I am Chris Smith, and today I'm going to be reviewing Knight of Cups, directed by Terrence Malick, starring Christian Bale, Cate Blanchett, Natalie Portman. The list goes on and on and on. The plot of this basic thing is pretty simple for the most part. It's about a screenwriter who pretty much is a bit depressed, and he's kind of forgotten his meaning of life in some way, and then he kind of indulges in the LA lifestyle, from models and strippers to actresses, to kind of nudge the pain, and maybe even a little bit of drugs here and there. Now, when I first saw this thing, I was like, okay, this looks kind of interesting. Some people say it could look like Wolf of Wall Street, depending on what you may or may not think about it. But here's some good, here's some bad. Some good things about it. Terrence Malick has a vision here, and I admire that he stuck to that vision to the point of, you know, not really dumbing it down, because this movie is a bit confusing to the point where he did not dumb it down for the general audience like myself or whatever, to the point where he just stuck to his vision. And for that, I give the director all the props in the world, right? So that's a positive out the way. And I respect Terrence Malick's work, but I'm not a fan of his work really at all. Also, another thing that I really, or for something that could be positive, is that Knight of Cups comes from the tarot card readings, and if you understand the meaning or you look it up, you may understand this movie just a bit more. Now, this is, and also the performances are fairly good, nothing really spectacular to me personally. And then let's move on to the negatives. The negatives is, this thing is slow as hell to the point where it is boring. I fell asleep about twice, and I had to rewatch it again, and then that was also kind of painful really to do, but I had to review it because I wanted to. But yes, it's slow as hell, the pacing is very bad, and it's also very confusing, mainly because there is no narrative. This isn't an experimental film. You can look it up. Experimental film means it has no specific genre, and this kind of shows it, because not only is this boring and to the point where it's kind of confusing, because there is no real story per se, just like Christian Bale walking around, and apparently that's not really enough. Also, you know, this is a type of film that is so confusing, you'd be like, what the hell did I just watch, to the point where art house people, fans that are people are fans of art house films, will literally go out of this thing and just say, what the fuck. This thing tries to be a bit pretentious at times to really make things kind of seem a bit more memorable, but unfortunately, it doesn't. It just kind of comes across as just like bland and just like kind of depressing, to the point where just like, what the hell? Because there's a lot of Christian Bale staring, just like walking like that, and there's a lot of landscaping shots of like buildings or whatever, mountains and waves, and it really doesn't come across that very well, the story, because unfortunately there really isn't a story. Maybe there's a meaning behind it, but that's not the point. What you got on screen, what you're supposed to get, maybe I gotta watch a couple times, but unfortunately he didn't do a good job at it. But that's my review of Knight of Cups. It's kind of confusing, it's kind of a bit of a mess, but I admire the director's ambition, and I admire his craft, but unfortunately that wasn't enough to really get through the movie. You know, it's decent. If you like Terrence Malick, you'll get a kick out of it. If you don't like Terrence Malick, walk away. But that's my review. Comment, subscribe, like. I would give it religion, because this thing is not for everybody. But yes, comment, subscribe, like. I'm Chris Smith. I'm signing.